Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kimchica and I am definitely getting ready for TwitchCon, but before I head out, I wanted to make sure that you got my Don't Miss Indies video for September. It seemed like there were multiple releases every week that really could have all made this list, and so it was really tough to pick, but I did narrow it down to 15 titles, which is still heftier than my normal video, and these 15 titles are the ones that I think you should be sure to take a look at if you're looking for some new indies to play. So let's jump into it. Children of Morta. In this beautifully crafted roguelike, you'll play as various members of the Bergson family, each defending the sacred Mount Morta with their unique set of combat skills. Not only are the mechanics of this game a joy to play, but the vignettes showing family life in the midst of the larger scale, more epic story add a touch of warmth and humanity that makes this game one of my personal favorites of this month.
Together in a time of struggle, thousands of memories bring thousands of images. These moments when you gave it all for one another, but also times when you felt alone.
Atomicrops. Releasing to early access, Atomicrops brings a zany, colorful twist on the farming and roguelike genres we love. Do all the normal farming things like plant, water, and harvest your crops, but you'll be doing all of this all the while defending yourself and your fields against swarms of creatures attacking you. Be sure to save time for meeting others, and perhaps even a little romance, but some of my favorite parts of Atomicrops was the unique blend of shooting and farming, often at the same time. This is a game for the multitaskers of the world, that is for sure. Fit for a King. Who wouldn't want to be royalty for a day? In Fit for a King, you get to play the part of a monarch who is trying to impress, and maybe even more vindictively embarrass, your rival at an upcoming summit. Collect taxes, marry everything, and enjoy the nostalgia trip of text-based gameplay and retro visuals. Don't be deterred by them if they're not quite your thing. They really do add to the quirky and very humorous situations you'll find yourself in as the newest member of the royal family. River City Girls. While River City Girls is based on a widely popular franchise known as Kunio-kun from the late 80s and early 90s, this was my first foray into the world of River City, and my goodness was it a blast. Misako and Kyoko are two best friends skipping out on detention and fighting in the name of love. Their boyfriends are missing after all. This game has personality and aesthetics to spare, and the animation and art alone could have kept me hooked. Of course, it didn't have to because the whole soundtrack is a bop, and the gameplay, well, that's pretty solid too.
What up, bro, Sept? Ready to break a leg?
Creature in the Well. Bot C is a robot on a quest to find and activate a weather machine to stop a sandstorm of epic proportions from destroying a small town. Seems like a simple enough quest, but as you step into the halls of the cavern that houses this machine, things begin to get a little more, well, complicated. Thus begins this hack and slash meets pinball puzzler. In each room, your goal is to gather energy from the puzzles by hitting pinballs to specific spots. This game is a challenging one, but well worth the effort. Kind words. Relax to lo-fi music and write letters to real people? That's the premise for Kind Words. But beneath this simple and very cute exterior lies one of the most unique and personal experiences I've had in a game. You can write letters to share your stresses, hopes, fears, or even something funny and whimsical you heard and just want to share. As you send and receive letters, there are also stickers you can collect and share from your interactions that become visual representations of those letters that you've shared, and you can put them up in your room. Kind Words is one of the loveliest games I've had the pleasure to come across in a long time. Later Alligator. Funny and beautifully animated, Later Alligator is a point-and-click comedy where you get to meet a cast of over 100 different alligators and 3 ghosts. Or at least, so the developers say. You have to save Pat, an alligator being threatened by his family, which is the family, because organized crime is apparently an issue in the alligator world. And with multiple endings and so many alligators to meet and puzzles to complete, this looks like it'll be a fun title to revisit time and time again. Little Misfortune. Little Misfortune has a fractured fairy tale vibe, and in this adventure game, you'll hopefully guide Misfortune, yes, that is her name, to finding eternal happiness for her mum. You'll see that this game, while sweet in many ways, has darker themes, addressing abuse in the home and suicide, so please be aware of that if you do choose to jump in. If you'd like to see the demo of Little Misfortune before playing, be sure to check out my playthrough of it in the description box below.
Mr. Voice?
Yes, Misfortune?
Has anyone reached the end of the game and gotten the eternal happiness?
Yes, of course.
You know?
Mutazione. I enjoy plants immensely in real life, so I was primed to enjoy Mutazione, an adventure game where one of the main activities is planting gardens. In Mutazione, you are a teenager named Kai visiting your grandfather on the surreal and mutant-filled island he lives on. This is your first time seeing him, and this is a game about relationships. The relationships between family members, relationships between communities, relationships between outsiders and insiders, and yes, even romantic relationships. As you get to know the folks on the island, you'll grow musical gardens with different songs and instruments represented depending on the types of plants you use. And these gardens can help heal the community, its members, and perhaps even solve some of the mysteries of Kai's past. Overland. The long-awaited Overland is out, and in this turn-based tactical game, you wander the post-apocalyptic world, trying to make it to the presumed safety of the West Coast. Thankfully, as you travel, you'll pick up companions, both human and canine, to keep you company. Your journey will be filled with decisions about how to balance resources, but the wrench that makes this game go from pretty difficult to immensely challenging are the bug-like aliens who multiply the longer you take hanging out in an area, and who gather even more quickly when one of their own is in danger or defeated. Then there are the heart-wrenching decisions, like whether or not to leave someone behind to save the rest of the group, or to steal gas from a stranger so you can make it out alive. Yeah, Overland is definitely not for the faint of heart, but to those who enjoy this kind of tactical challenge, buckle up for a wild ride. Sayonara Wild Hearts. If you took Sailor Moon, Sonic, J-pop, rhythm games, and Persona and melded them together, you might have what comes close to my personal favorite game of the month, Sayonara Wild Hearts. The blend of music with gameplay is phenomenal, and when you add the colorful visuals and the ability to play through all of the tracks in a row after you've completed the story once through, well, there goes your evening. It can seem a bit overstimulating with all of the color and quick camera movement, so if that's not something you're into, do keep that in mind. But rarely have I encountered a game where all of the elements, including how you interact with it as a player, have such a feeling of synergy. You can also sample the soundtrack on Spotify and YouTube if you'd like to give the music a taste, but honestly, if you're that close to buying, I'd highly recommend just experiencing it all together for the first time. Untitled Goose Game. Have a honking good time in Untitled Goose Game where you play as sneaky, well, trying to be sneaky goose, whose goal is to wreak havoc among a quaint village. This is a short experience, and because of that, I don't want to go into too much detail about what you do specifically, as discovering just how to annoy each villager and check off those to-dos on your list, and that's half the fun. But know that this is a game that will give you more than a few belly laughs. The Sojourn. In The Sojourn, you'll wander a dreamy world solving puzzles to try and figure out where the mysterious lights are leading you. You'll play with light and shadow as you solve these puzzles, and I particularly appreciated the ability to walk away from certain puzzles when stumped to start a different one and be able to return with fresh eyes instead of having to remain stuck. While this game is pretty straightforward and perhaps a little repetitive in parts, fans of puzzle games will enjoy the relaxing atmosphere as they think through their solutions. Nolita. Delve into the dungeons of Nolita, which released on Steam Early Access. The truly captivating component of this indie is the procedurally generated pixel technology. Destroying the environments of this game results in spectacular explosions of pixels and movement on the screen, which makes gameplay feel immensely satisfying. Craft, create, and cast spells to foil your enemies and revel in the action roguelike gameplay. We Met in May. This game is actually a series of vignettes grouped together showcasing dates that feel so wonderfully and awkwardly relatable. We Met in May captures those vulnerable, irreverent moments when starting to date someone and is based off of the dates that Nina and Jake shared early in their relationship. And when paired with the music of Ryan, which adjusts depending on the episode from tracks like a lighthearted beach melody or a more intense JRPG theme to set the mood, We Met in May captures the beauty and comedy in the ordinary moments. Again, September was a doozy. I had a hard time just narrowing it down to 15 games, and I'm sure you're all yelling at your screens that there's a few more that I missed, so please do put them in the comments below. Even if I don't get a chance to feature them here, I often go and play them just on my own, and it's really fun to dive into some of the games that you all have recommended me over the years. As I said at the start, I will be at TwitchCon over the weekend and through the rest of this week, so while normally I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, this Thursday, September 26th, and next Tuesday, October 1st, I will not be streaming at my normal time because I will be traveling and recovering from that travel. So no streams for this week, basically, but be sure to follow me at twitch.tv/Kimchica if you would like to tune in and hang out for a stream or two in the future. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoy curated lists of indie games brought to you at least twice a month, please be sure to follow this channel. Until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, that you're finding lots of indie games to play, and I'll see you in the next video.